This comment deserves a more in-depth video. Basically, a discussion was being had about racial essentialism. Specifically in Attack on Titan, because in Attack on Titan, the Titans were basically all one race whose genetics makes them predisposed to turning into a Titan and wigging out and killing everyone. And a lot of people were saying, well, there's kind of a problem with that because there's a lot of anti-Semitic imagery and World War II imagery and Holocaust imagery in Attack on Titan. And it's a little tone-deaf to say, yes, there was a race that was an actual genetic threat. And this comment says, well, how's that any different from the X-Men? The X-Men is a racial commentary, and doesn't that mean that it's racist because the X-Men were genuine threats? The big difference is that the X-Men posits mutants as people. The X-Men are genetically different, yes. But in the end, most mutants can control their powers to a certain degree. Even if they're born without control, there are steps they can take to control them. The fundamental message behind the X-Men is that they are not threats, they are people. They might be people who can, fire lasers from their eyes, but what they do with those lasers is up to them. Which led to the sort of civil rights discourse of just because you're different doesn't mean that you're worse. Or, in this case, a threat. You're just different and you can make your choice like anyone else. The Titans in Attack on Titan are different. They're genetically different, but they're postulated as being an uncontrollable threat. They are not in control of themselves. They are gigantic beings that have ruined society. The X-Men haven't ruined society. Mutants haven't ruined society. They can coexist just like anyone else. The Titans were literally so violent they changed the course of human history. That's the difference here. That's why we wouldn't call X-Men racist, but we would call some of the imagery in Attack on Titan anti-Semitic and racially essentialist. Mutants are not considered threats. They can do stuff that other people can't, and they can use this to bring harm to people, but fundamentally, they're still people. Whereas there are points in time for Titans where they are fundamentally not people. They are mindless, giant killing monsters. And the fact that the Eldians are basically a parallel for Jews in the Holocaust is what makes this tone deaf. And I mean right down to armbands with stars on them. Because yes, the anime is saying racism is bad, you shouldn't do that. But it's also saying there actually are a people who are genetically predisposed to be a big threat to humanity. And that's the propaganda that was used against the Jews in the Holocaust. They were portrayed as violent and uncontrollable, basically more beast than man. And that's what the Titans actually are in Attack on Titan. And that's what makes this thing super tone deaf.